Happy Friday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been able to keep up with my videos lately. Make sure you have notifications turned on just in case you haven't been, but you can always head to the channel and catch up. Also remember to check out the shorts section. I don't know if people get notifications for shorts, so check out that section as well if you're interested. But today I want to talk about Blue Beetle. It will be the next installment in the DC universe coming out in August. And recently there's been some interesting comments from James Gunn and the director as well regarding Blue Beetle's place in the DC universe, because they kind of are in this transition period where they're going to be sort of rebooting or, you know, making a new DC universe. And so since Blue Beetle was kind of inherited by them, obviously from the previous regime, but you know, up until now, I think some fans may have been wondering, is it going to be connected to the previous DC movies that we've had? Is it going to be a standalone thing where it doesn't seem connected? Is it going to be part of the DC the DC universe moving forward, because it is the introduction of a new character? You know, now that they're doing a new DC universe in, you know, the next couple of years, where is he going to fit in all of that? Recently, James Gunn said something that I thought was, I don't know, kind of unexpected. He said that Blue Beetle is the first character in the new DC universe that he and Peter Safran are planning. It didn't really make much sense to me, because they said that they're starting off their universe with Superman Legacy. So to me, that sounds like he's the first character they're going to introduce in this new DC universe under their leadership. I can understand if he said like Blue Beetle, you know, will be a part of the new DC universe, but it's kind of weird for him to say it will be. I guess maybe he meant like it's the first, his movie's coming out soon, and so we're going to obviously see his movie before Superman Legacy, but I felt like it was pretty soon, like it was kind of early to say that, because first of all, his movie doesn't come out for another like 2 months. We haven't seen him yet as the character, because like I said, this is a new introduction to a new live action character, which I think he's going to be really cool to see live action. But why would you say that so early, before his movie even comes out, before you have any kind of response to the movie? What if the movie doesn't do well, or doesn't do what they want it to do? I think it makes more sense to wait until after the movie comes out, see how people respond, see how it performs, and then answer that question. But the director also kind of confirmed what James Gunn said. In the new issue of Total Film magazine, he said, "We are part of the universe, we are part of the world, we are part of the plans that they have been creating for the future installments of the DCU. But we are not tied to all the films from the past. Yes, our movie lives in the world where superheroes exist, but that doesn't mean that a certain event or a certain alliance or certain things from the past dictate where our film is going." And that is from director Angel Manuel Soto. Also says that he teased his ambitions for the new DC hero that even extends to a potential trilogy. He said, "Our first movie, the way we wanted to do it, was always with the mentality that we wanted to do 2 more at least. And taking the traditional 3-act structure of a story, we wanted our first movie to practically be the first act of a saga." Comes out August 18th. I guess I'm not really surprised by his comment about Blue Beetle not being tied to the past DC movies, because the old regime was really trying to move away from the Snyderverse. There's other things that they did without Zack Snyder, obviously, that they probably could have not necessarily tied it to, but like there's things referenced maybe that have happened in previous movies or something like that. But he says that it doesn't mean that a certain event, certain alliance, or certain things from the past dictate where our film was going. So it seems like they really wanted to make it a standalone film. It's not connected to any events or any things that happened before in the DCU, but he's still, you know, superheroes do exist in his world. They said Batman in the trailer. They mentioned Batman. So maybe they do say certain names of superheroes, but they probably don't acknowledge or reference events that we've seen in previous movies, like The Flash does. Like I said, given what the old regime was trying to do, they were kind of trying to like reboot without saying that they're rebooting, I feel like. So it makes sense to me that they wouldn't want it to tie to previous things, because they were just all over the place. And that's okay. Like, I feel like sometimes it's okay for when you're introducing a character to your live action universe. I think it's okay to have just a standalone thing that you don't necessarily have to reference things that have happened before. It's kind of cool if you do, because sometimes you see, like, from their perspective, things that happened before, you know, like we get things like that in The Flash. But the old regime, I think, just had a certain motivation for why they probably didn't want it to, you know, reference certain events or be like, where was Jaime Reyes at this time and why was, you know what I mean? It's kind of just like his own story right now. It's a self-contained type of thing. I feel like putting statements out like this pretty early on before the movie, you know, before the movie comes out, does it, I don't want to say hurt the movie, but are fans invested in something that they don't think has really any connection to the current DC universe? It seems like they have made statements before they should, because, like, for instance, they announced a reboot very fast after James Gunn and Peter Safran got into the leadership positions for DC Studios. They announced it so quick, and then they announced this slate or part one, you know, part of chapter 1 or whatever. I feel like that right there, like, they got off to a start where they just announced that way too fast. Like, they didn't give time for a proper conclusion for the current DC universe before announcing that kind of stuff. Like, you don't have to, if that's what you're planning on doing, that's fine. That's their decision. But why would you announce it so fast when you still have DC movies coming out? Not going to help those movies, because fans that have been invested over the past decade, why are they going to be why are they going to stay invested in these movies still coming out this year if you're saying, oh, well, those are not going to matter because we're doing a reboot afterwards anyway? Yeah, people are still going to want to watch them because they're DC movies or because they like the characters. It's going to be a lot harder to convince people to care about these movies when you're saying that, well, they're not going to lead anywhere. I mean, yeah, they inherit these movies, but they still need them to do well. Blue Beetle, maybe they're trying to do the opposite. I don't know, maybe they're trying to tell people, like, he is going to move forward, he is going to be part of the future plans. So maybe that's what they're trying to do to get people invested and be like, no, like, see the movie because it is going to lead somewhere. He is going to stick around. Hopefully it does help them, because I do think he is going to be a cool character to see live action. If the movie doesn't do how well, as good as they want it to, they already put this out there. So now they're going to have to stick by that. They're going to be expected to anyway. They're going to be expected to have Blue Beetle included in their future plans. Either way, no matter how well it does, or, whether it does good, bad, whatever, by their standards or expectations, they're going to have to stand by that because they're already putting it out there before the movie comes out. I feel like they need to slow down on announcements or confirming things like that, because now they set that expectation and fans are going to expect that. Well, because if the movie doesn't do well, what are they going to say? Oh, well, it didn't do as well as we wanted it to. It didn't perform. So no, they already put it out there. So we're going to, people are going to see whether or not they stick to their word, which they kind of they already don't have a great track record with that. And they haven't even put out one of their own movies yet. I hope it does well, though. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I just wanted to share that on the channel, keep things updated with what's going on. So thank you guys for watching. Check out anything you might have missed recently. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. See you next time.